All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers and subscribers. This is another episode of The Truth with Ben Jokes, your trusted channel for political analysis. In all honesty, before now, I have never been afraid of being a Nigerian or living in Nigeria, but the events of the last 3 months have completely changed the narrative for me. As I speak to you, every Nigerian living in this country is at risk. I'm telling you, this isn't a matter of God forbid or stop saying negative things. This is the fact on ground. And at this point, if anyone says he would intensify prayer for God to protect his or her friends and family, I wouldn't discourage that person. Why? Because Nigeria is surrounded by Fulani terrorists, north, south, east, west as we speak. So anybody that wants to pray should pray, because the practical solutions are just three. Number one, self-defense. Number two, a revolution to get the government out, or to get the government to do what is right. And number three is leaving the country. And most Nigerians are not ready for any of these three options. Yet the danger is already at our doorstep. And it does not look like Nigerians are ever going to wake up. At best, when Nigerians will wake up, it might be too late, because we keep screaming and screaming, and it looks as if people are deaf. Few hours ago, Boko Haram struck again in Yobe State, wreaking havoc and killing soldiers. Of course, many Nigerian soldiers have fled their duty post already because of the negligence of the Tinubu regime. They don't give them enough equipment. These things started from Buhari regime and it has continued now. They don't give them enough equipment. They don't even pay them their allowances as and when due. Meanwhile, they pamper Boko Haram members when they say they have repented. So many soldiers are fleeing. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to the killing of those soldiers in Yobe State, reports came from Kwara State that army had abandoned the fight against insurgency in that region, and as such, the people began to flee their homes. This report says the rich and the poor are fleeing their homes in large number because the Fulani headsmen, the Fulani terrorists, have given them ultimatums to flee their homes. And being a predominantly Muslim region that supported the Muslim ticket, Nigerians began asking them, what is the value of your support for the Muslim ticket now? Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video by Pastor Tunde Bakari breaking down how Tinubu has completely destroyed democracy in Nigeria. See the video.
At the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians, and in recent times by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mr. President, it is through your influence that the Nigerian National Assembly has become a haven for legislative rascality. Mr. President, it's under your watch that the National Assembly has become an extension of the executive, grossly violating the principles of separation of powers and rubber stamping the whims and caprices of your office, all while singing the international anthem of psychoviolence on your mandate, we shall stand. Mr. President, thanks to your political machinations, Nigeria is now bedeviled by a captured National Assembly, the most ineffective in its checks and balances role since the start of the Fourth Republic. In 2006, the Fourth National Assembly had the audacity to reject the tenure exemption bid of a sitting president. In 2010, the Sixth National Assembly summoned the courage to stand against the power hijacking cabal and restore Nigeria to the path of constitutionality by invoking the doctrine of necessity. In 2011, the House of Representatives of the Seventh National Assembly had the courage to elect its leaders, as did the Senate of the Eighth National Assembly in 2015, defying executive interference. This National Assembly, the 10th, has by its unconstitutional endorsement of the President's abuse of powers proven to be the most spineless in our recent history. Through its actions and inactions, The National Assembly has in effect become the 48th member of the President's cabinet. While a cabinet minister by the name of Wike, is it Wike or Wike or Wakeep? While a cabinet minister has more or less become a third-time state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president. Recent events have made it clear to Nigerians that had this assembly been in place in 2006, when the third-term agenda was proposed, our democracy would have since morphed into one of Africa's lamentable tales of sit-tight dictatorship. To the President of the Nigerian Senate, who has not heeded the call to subject himself to an unbiased investigation, to clear his name of the allegations leveled against him, and under whose leadership the National Assembly has become a carry-go legislature, hiding under the umbrella of technicalities and a dubious voice voting system. I leave you and your conscience with the words of Frederic Bessiert, former deputy of the French National Assembly. He said, and I quote, "When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it." To the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under whose brand of politics the institution of legislative oversight is collapsing and our democracy is faced with an existential threat, I say, Mr. President, Nigeria is too delicate for this kind of politics. If this state capture was what you meant by a Miloko, it is an anticlimax that can only be counterproductive at the end. I urge you, Mr. President, to think deeply and reflect on these words. No man is wise enough, nor good enough, to be trusted with unlimited power. Mr. President, please stop playing God.
You heard that. Pastor Tunde Bakari may have his own controversial positions on many issues, but on this one, he was absolutely right. Tinubu has totally destroyed democracy in Nigeria, and I'm glad that Tunde Bakari is a Yoruba man and he gave that speech in front of a predominantly Yoruba crowd. So the ethnic coloration with which the Tinubu cabinet dismisses messages like this cannot work on this occasion. We expect that more elders will speak up, because what is happening in Nigeria now is beyond politics. The very soul of this nation is at stake. More than 70% of boys between ages 19 to 27 in this country have become fraudsters. Unemployment is on a daily rise. Inflation is through the roof. Democracy destroyed, and Fulani terrorists surrounding the entire nation. A time will come they will begin to pick days to strike nationwide. You see something like the 36 states of Nigeria plus FCT being hit at the same time, say 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon. By then, it might be too late. What a catastrophe. Who will save Nigeria? Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that update on Boko Haram striking in Yobe State and killing soldiers. And next is how soldiers abandoned the fight against insurgency in some parts of Kwara State, causing residents, rich and poor, to abandon their homes and flee. Let's start by taking that update from Yobe State. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: Boko Haram terrorists attack Yobe community, kill 3 soldiers. Sahara reporters. Militants from the Islamic State-backed faction of Boko Haram, the Islamic State West Africa Province, formerly known as Jamaat al-Sunnah Lid Dawal Jihad, have attacked Buniyadi, killing 3 soldiers. The attackers also carted away foodstuffs and livestock, sources told Sahara reporters. Buniyadi in Gujba local government area, located 54 kilometers away from Damaturu, the state capital, was one of the worst hit local communities in Yobe State under the control of Boko Haram insurgents for 2 years. And that is it. Another attack on soldiers, 3 killed in Yobe State. And there are similar attacks in Katsina, in Borno, and in Zamfara, all having soldiers killed. And at this point, terrorists are the ones bringing the fight to soldiers. And the soldiers don't even have adequate weapons. They are not well equipped to even repel these attacks. 3 soldiers appeared on a rise and they said the Nigerian army counts bullets for them. I thought the Tinubu regime would quickly rise to apologize to the entire combatants and begin to make moves to fix that situation immediately. How can you count bullets for soldiers who are at war? So I thought they were going to, rise to the occasion, but nothing has been done ever since. Yet, these terrorists keep getting stronger and stronger, and when they decide to repent, after killing soldiers and many innocent Nigerians, the government will still pamper them. So the soldiers have weighed their options and many of them are now dumping the army. And that takes us to the next update. Tinubu supporters in many communities in Kwara State are now fleeing their homes. These are predominantly Muslim societies that said that Muslim ticket or nothing. But now they are having to flee their homes as the army have abandoned the fight against insurgency in Kwara State. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking: residents flee Kwara communities, accuse Nigerian army of abandoning fight against terror group Mahmuda to vigilantes. Sahara reporters. Residents of several communities in Kama local government area of Kwara State are fleeing their homes in droves as a new terrorist group tightens its grip on the region. Sahara reporters can confirm the latest wave of panic follows the Nigerian Army's sudden withdrawal from active operation in the area, leaving local vigilantes alone to confront the deadly group known as Mahmuda. Community sources who spoke to Sahara reporters on Monday lamented the deteriorating security situation and accused the Nigerian and Kwara state government of ignoring the growing insecurity in the area. As I am talking to you, our community, Kemanji, is under the control of these people. They have not entered the main Kama town, and that was how it started in Sokoto, Kebbi, and other states. Our community is about 10 kilometers from Kama, one source said. He explained that the current state of fear gripping the area has triggered a mass exodus, with both wealthy and underprivileged residents abandoning their homes. The problem now is that everyone is afraid. Both the rich and the poor have started abandoning their houses. They are moving to the main town of Kama, and some who have relatives in Ilorin are moving there and other neighboring towns, he added. According to the residents, the terrorists had long occupied the dense forests around the area without incident. However, a military raid during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan reportedly provoked the group, leading to the current spate of attacks on surrounding communities. Residents now fear that unless the government intervenes, Kwara State may soon suffer the same fate as other northern states overrun by non-state armed groups. Wow, this is terrible. These terrorists have settled 10 kilometers away from Kama. They are no longer coming and going. They have settled there. And if you know Kwara State well, you will understand how close they are now to the state capital, Ilorin. And you know that when they take Ilorin, that is all. That is over for Kwara State. If they are already 10 kilometers away from Kama, Kama is about 3 hours away from Ilorin, the state capital. So if you are even running to Ilorin, it is not even a wise decision. You should be fleeing the state entirely, because they are only 3 hours from you. They will still come for you. But to where? Name one state where you can be totally free from Fulani attacks now in Nigeria. Maybe few states in the southeast and south-south. So are we all going to move to the southeast and south-south? Army have fled, and no one can blame them. Many Nigerians have even wondered how these young soldiers found the inspiration to continue defending a country that keeps maltreating them. Now, I will not forget 2 clerics from Kwara State, Muslim clerics, who preached against Tinubu and the APC in 2023. They didn't say vote Peter Obi, but they said don't vote Tinubu and APC. And to be fair, that stand was big enough. to speak against a Muslim ticket as a Muslim cleric. That was big enough. But these clerics were heavily criticized by the Muslim communities in Kwara State. They even began telling members to boycott their mosques. But today, the two imams have been vindicated. All they warned against have come to pass. And to the Muslim communities that said it is Islam or nothing, what can the Muslim ticket do for them now? Many of them have fled their homes. They're left with nothing. So they are going to become beggars. They are going to become liabilities where they are going to. It is happening in Kwara State as we speak. The same thing happening in Ondo State, happening in Osun State. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Founder of Jamayu here says, if security agencies flee, then who go protect us? Bye. That is it. Who is going to protect you? Michael says, we are in trouble under APC. This party should be kicked out in the next election so that we can have peace. Well, this is what we keep preaching here, that Nigerians should unite and kick these guys out. If not, it is not getting any better, and it is never going to get better. That is for sure. Iroko here says, what is really happening in Nigeria? Don't we have a government that is supposed to protect lives and property? Wow, this is shameful as can be. And let us not kid ourselves. It is not going to get any better. With what Tinubu has even demonstrated in the last 1 week, you should know that he does not even care. We've had like the biggest run of insecurity in his regime. We had it in the last 2 weeks. And he was not in Nigeria. Ordinarily, to even issue statement against the killings in Plateau State was a problem. Couldn't even issue statement against it. He had to be forced, had to be coerced to say, okay, I order security forces to stop it. What a shame. But I'm not surprised. This is the APC. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that if we desire to still have a country in the near future, we must cast aside our sentiments, come together, and take our country back. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go.